violence, to riots.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Welcome to the General's Corner. I'm Mike Payne, General of the original Black Panthers of VA, National General under King Rick. Now, from our last episode on General's Corner, I got a lot of questions about forgiveness. So I want to go over that. I wanted to go over forgiveness, the ideas of forgiveness, what forgiveness truly means to me and to our Black people. I want to go over how it has been reinvented and skewed into the minds of some of our Black people. First, I would like to start with the definition. And that reads, stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone for an offense, flaw, or mistake. Now, I'll come back to that a little bit later. But we as Black people seem to think we need to love, hug, kick it with, have some major kumbaya moment, cuddle with the person whom we have forgiven. Some of my dear pastors go by the biblical version, and some of them interpret it a little differently. Some add on to what's already there. And some go by what's strictly written in the book. My dear pastors and clergymen, remember this. Dr. King was one of our last nonviolent leaders. Dr. King was a beacon of hope, and they murdered him. They killed him. Now, you might wonder where I'm going with this, but if you look at forgiveness and forgetting, because in that biblical text, it says to forget and to forgive. Mostly in the New Testament, it goes into the forgetting part. But it's trickled into the Old as well. But anyway, forgetting is a problem. Forgetting our past is a problem. Forgetting what has been done to you is a problem. And we'll get into that. Let me ask you something. What makes you think forgiving means to forget? What makes you think those things run hand in hand? And I'm asking everyone. If you forget, that alludes to you saying, allow that person to come back into the same position in which they came from. Because if you didn't forget, then they wouldn't technically be there. This wouldn't matter. If you forgot, then what? That person would always be right next to you because you wouldn't remember what they did to you if you truly forgot. If you truly forgive somebody, and that also runs synonymous with forgetting, if you forgive somebody and it runs synonymous with forgetting, then that means in order to do so, you would have to allow that person to be next to you. And for me and for my Black people, that is an issue. My Black people, look, I know you think you're free. I know you think we've come such a long way and we are now free and we are no longer oppressed. I know because you feel like you can make a decent living, earn a wage, have your own business. That's not synonymous with freedom either. So, there's things we have to look at. To allow these so-called mistakes and transgressions to happen twice and maybe even 3 times over is a bit silly. If somebody scarred your face and you had to go in that mirror every day and look at the scar on your face, could you forget about it? Could you forget what that person did to you? I don't believe so. I almost look at that like putting your hand in a pit full of rattlesnakes. Now, of course that rattlesnake is going to bite you. But do you give it a chance to do it again? Do you go back to that same pit and put your hand in that same pit and get bit twice? Intelligent people, black people. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense to me. When your oppressors stole your black ass from the homeland in Africa, brought you over to America, whipped you on your back, your buttocks, raped the men, the women, the children, murdered the men, the women, the children. Can you just forget that? Now, I know if it was your grandmother, you can forget. You couldn't forget. You couldn't even forgive because that's grandma, because she's right there. But grandma's grandma is so far removed that you tend to just, let it go? Forget? Also, if someone is still doing the exact same thing to you today that they've been doing, then you can't even forgive them. Because in order to forgive somebody, the person that's committing these atrocities against you would have to have stopped. And if they haven't stopped yet, then how do you forgive them? Some of y'all done skipped right over that and went straight to forgetting. You went straight to forgiving or forgetting, and you haven't even gotten to the point where you should forgive someone yet because they are still doing things to you. That's almost like having a friend around that steals from you. Or the person that murdered your child or murdered your mother. Yes, you can forgive them, but you don't forget it. When someone is doing something to you, or let's say it's a serial killer, they done murdered one of your family members, they haven't been caught, you done already forgave them, and they move on to murder a couple more of your family members. So you just don't forgive so easily. Let it sink in. Forgiveness is for you, not for them. It's so that you can get something off of your chest, off of your shoulders. Look, you can ghost people. That doesn't mean that you're carrying around negativity. That doesn't mean that you're walking around with a chip on your shoulder. That doesn't mean that you're sitting around bringing bad energy into the world. That means you just don't want these people next to you or in your circle. Kick them out your circle. Get them away from you. Do not allow people in your circle that you know are there to hurt you. They say when people show you who they are, you should believe them. Now, I don't know how that goes with forgiving them, which you could do, but you cannot forget. That's like saying also, if you don't know your history, you're destined to repeat it. So you go around and you forget your history, you forget what they've done to you, you forget this, that, and the third. How do you then keep it from happening again? It sounds like you're just a glutton for punishment. So these are things we have to really look at as black people. I see it all the time. We out there just, and I said this in the last speech, we out there hugging people, hugging our murderers, hugging people that have harmed us. Forgive them if you must, but do not forget ever. They do not run parallel. They do not run synonymous together. Do you understand that? We are an intelligent people, a smart people. We've built empires, countries, continents. We are the original man and women. We're too intelligent for this. We know that the Bible, at some point in time with our people, had been used as a tool to control the slaves, to control our ancestors. We can't allow that. We can't allow that control today in our so-called freedom. We can't allow these different texts to control us as a people. We cannot afford at this point in the game to forget anything. Knowledge is key. Knowledge is power. Now, I'm not telling people what religion to pick. I'm not saying don't be Christian. I'm not even saying don't follow the Bible. I'm saying forgiveness and forgetting do not run hand in hand. You're free to do what you want. But I would urge you not to forget and not to be fooled by the new definition that is being put out to our black people as what forgiveness is. As I said, we are an intelligent people. And to forget what's being done to you or what has been done to you, and to allow enemies of you to move back into your circle, puts us on the brink of insanity. Thank you.
Now back to your regular broadcast.